us about life in Shakespeare's London. By us. Okay, the people in Shakespeare's London, they took religion very seriously. There was a lot of times that they would fight and kill each other because there were two main religions and they fought over which was correct. They were really superstitious. They believed in fairies, witches, elves. They weren't just kid stories back then. They thought it was true. And if you were to see a fairy, witch, or an elf, then you were to go blind. That's what they thought. They loved to be entertained.
Well, London's government. London had a government that changed rulers very often. London was a monarchy. There was no separation of church and state, and London was constant fear of war.
The government constantly changed rulers because it went through the family, and they just died and stuff. There was a monarchy, so there was a king and queen, which there's still a royal family today, but it's not a monarchy. They have some say in the government, but it's more like a, how would I say it? They don't have full control. There was no separation of church and state. They went through the Roman Catholic Church, and then there was another religion that they kept on switching back to because there was a problem with the church saying that people need to give more money to the church, pretty much telling people that they could buy their way into heaven. And some people caught on to that, and so there was constant fighting. They were in a constant fear of war because religion, every time the ruler would change, they would change the main religion. So it was between, what's it called,
Protestants
and Catholicism.
Elizabeth and England. London was very heavy populated. London was not very sanitary, and people were not very civilized.
In the year 1600, there was about 120,000 people, and by 1650, there was 375,000 people, which was really weird because they had a lot of plague, and it wasn't very sanitary, so people didn't bathe normally. So there was a high mortality rate. And the reason I say people are not very civilized, I'll go over in the entertainment slide.
Supernatural beliefs. People believe the people of London were very religious, and the people of London were very superstitious. Technically, if you were a believer into all that stuff, if you practiced sorcery or magic or whatever, you'd be hanged or burned, or witchcraft, yeah.
And they believed in fairies, like I added here. The entertainment.
They had all sorts of entertainment, card playing, dicing, racing. They also enjoyed going to theater, and on special events, the Queen would hold a bear baiting tournament.
Does anybody know what a bear baiting tournament is? Okay. Do you want to explain?
Oh,
You go for it.
isn't that like a sports event they used to do in Elizabethan, whatever it is?
I didn't know what it was, so I looked it up. What they do is they chain a bear to a post or something, and they let other animals attack the bear, or people fight the bear.
Pretty much the first person that dies is the whole entertainment.
Yeah, it's pretty much animal abuse. What was it like for women?
Women did not decide for themselves. What they were told to do or to do in their lives. Women were very limited by the law on what they could accomplish.
Women were seen as pretty much dogs. If I say eat, it's time to eat. If I say come with me, it's time to come with me. They were pretty much slaves. The roles of women.
Women were treated poorly, and it depends whether they're a widow or married. Women had responsibility of the house, birthing and taking care of their children. Widows had freedom, which means they could decide on their own.
Yeah, they were treated poorly because they were property to their fathers or husbands, and it depends on whether they were widowed or married. If a unmarried virgin were in public, she was expected to be silent. She's not really to have any role in society, pretty much. They had responsibility of the house, birthing and taking care of the children. They just took care of the kids and stayed at home, really. Widows had somewhat freedom. They could make their own decisions. They're pretty much allowed to go to the market without permission. Literary pieces that can be compared to women's lives in Shakespeare's London. I say Romeo and Juliet because in Romeo and Juliet, Juliet's from a rich family, Romeo not so much. So Romeo and Juliet are in love and you think that they could be together, but because Juliet's family says that she can't, she's a female and she has no say in what she can do. So they were unable to be together because she's a female and she's property. Education for women in the 16th and 17th century.
Poor women learned how to read and somewhat some writing skills. Rich women learn grammar, writing, and reading, depending on who teaches them, and they learn about their responsibilities in religion.
Poor women, they learned how to read, and that was just for teaching religion to kids so they could read their Bibles on their own. The rich women, they learned grammar so they could speak properly, and they could write letters, and they could read the Bible. Depending on who teaches them, that's just depending on what their family tells them, pretty much. Politics.
London's government system was very unsteady, and London was monarchy.
It's unsteady because they are switching rulers so often, and every time there's a new ruler, there's a new religion, which caused a lot of problems because you know how two religions get along. It's not good. And a monarchy is when there's a king and a queen. Religion.
There was a constant change of religion in England between Catholicism and Protestantism. There was a lot of fighting over religion in London due to constant changes in religion.
The fighting was pretty much, I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right. And people actually killed each other because they were right.